My 19-year-old daughter spent 3 months organizing an extended family Christmas party for 26 children. 5 minutes before start, my mom called. "We all decided we will celebrate at your sister's place. Don't bother coming." I didn't yell. I did this. 3 months later, they had to move town. It was 5 minutes before the first knock on the door should have come when my phone rang. I was crouched behind the snack table, trying to fix a gingerbread man's face. One of his eyes had fallen off, and I was sticking it back on like it was life or death. Because somehow, it felt like it was. The frosting, the folded napkins, the garland, it all mattered. My daughter Daisy was standing across the room in a red velvet dress with silver snowflakes and elf ears. Her cheeks were pink from nerves, not blush, and she was going over the welcome speech for the 5th time, half muttering to herself, half performing for the stuffed reindeer in the corner. She looked electric, like joy had a pulse. And then my phone buzzed. I didn't want to answer it, but I saw the name on the screen, Mom, and the kind of dread that doesn't come from nowhere hit me like an instinct. I answered. "Hi." She didn't even say hello. Just this. "We all decided we'll celebrate at your sister's place instead. Don't bother coming." I sat back on my heels. I blinked. "What?" "We're already here. At Lauren's. It made more sense." Made more sense. Sure, because nothing screams logic like canceling a 26-kid Christmas party 5 minutes before it starts. "She's been planning this for months," I said. "She's 19, Heather. It's not a real event. You can't keep feeding her this illusion." She made a full schedule. Games, crafts, printed menus for cocoa toppings. "We were worried," she continued, her voice soft but immovable. "About safety, liability, 26 children running around with no professional supervision. It didn't feel appropriate. She's been volunteering at kids' camps for years. She's not licensed. She's not trained. She babysits Lauren's kids. For free. Every week. She's family. That's different. And Lauren already had everything set up. The tree, the gifts, the food. It's done. We just went with what made the most sense." "We?" I asked. She didn't pause. "Lauren, me, your stepdad, everyone." Everyone. Like we weren't part of that word. I couldn't speak. Not because I didn't have words, but because every word I had felt like it would come out as a scream. "Just tell Daisy not to take it personally," she added. "It's nothing against her. It's just better this way." And then she hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone like it might catch fire in my hands. In the living room, the speakers clicked on. Daisy's carefully curated playlist began, Bing Crosby's White Christmas, slowed down acoustic version. Her favorite. I stood up slowly and walked into the hall. I couldn't face her yet. I tried calling Lauren. She answered after 2 rings, kids shouting in the background. "Hey!" she chirped. "Need something?" "You're seriously hosting it?" I asked. "What do you mean? It's already happening. The kids are decorating cookies. It's chaos, but fun." "You knew Daisy was hosting." "She was trying to host. There's a difference. She's been working for months." "I know, and it's sweet, but we needed something that felt a little more stable." "You mean adult?" "I mean safe, legal, controlled. You know, not whimsical glitter chaos." "She made allergy cards, Lauren. She has a binder. A literal binder. Look, I love her, but she's not a professional. She's not even particularly charismatic." The air left my lungs. "She made 26 goodie bags with personalized stickers. And that's cute. But let's be honest, Heather, she's not going to make a career out of pipe cleaners and story time. At some point, she needs to grow up." "She's 19. "Exactly." I hung up. Not because I ran out of arguments, but because if I kept listening, I'd drive over there and burn their peppermint garland to ash. Back in the living room, Daisy was triple-checking the reindeer ring toss. "Do you think it's too hard for the little ones?" she asked. I could scoot the cones closer. I couldn't answer. I was still standing there like my soul had short-circuited. My phone buzzed again. Group chat. Extended family. A photo. Lauren's living room. Balloons. Wrapping paper. Aria in the glitter crown Daisy made. Owen holding a cookie that Daisy had baked. A caption underneath. So grateful to Lauren for stepping up last minute. Christmas magic. No mention of Daisy. Another photo. My parents' clinking glasses, big smiles, framed by a tree Daisy had offered to decorate. She looked at me from across the room. Mom? My face must have said everything. Her smile dropped. Who's at Lauren's house? She asked. I didn't respond fast enough. She walked over, slowly, took the phone from my hand, and she saw it. The pictures, the messages, the smiling faces of people who should have been here. She stared at the screen like it was in a language she couldn't read. Then she said very softly, Did they know I planned this? Yes, I whispered. They knew. She didn't speak. She just walked over to the puppet stage, turned off the little spotlight she'd rigged with her allowance, and sat down on the floor. I followed. I crouched beside her, reached for her hand. Sweetheart. She shook her head. I just wanted them to see it, she said. I thought if they saw it, they'd, I don't know, believe in me. Her voice cracked at the end, like her vocal cords were giving out. I know, I said. I thought maybe they'd finally think I was good at something. You are? She looked at me. Then why didn't they come? I didn't have an answer that wouldn't make her hate them forever. And maybe that's what they deserved. But she was still my daughter, and I still believed, stupidly, that she shouldn't have to hate people to learn they don't love her back the right way. She stood up. Let's pack it up. Daisy. No one's coming. The marshmallows are drying out. The cocoa's going to get weird. I don't want to waste the cookies. She started stacking goodie bags. Carefully. Like they were made of glass. And me? I stood there for a second. Then I walked to the kitchen, picked up the phone again, and started making calls. 3 months later, my sister had to move out of town. You'd think the worst part of that night was watching Daisy peel candy cane name tags off a table she'd spent 3 months decorating. It wasn't. The worst part was that deep down, I wasn't even surprised. Because some stories start with a party that didn't happen. Mine started long before that. Before gingerbread cookies, before puppet scripts, before Daisy ever handed me a crayon and told me I was in charge of art direction. It started in a different kitchen, with a different girl, crying over something she didn't have the words for. Me. My mom got pregnant with me in college. It was a one-time thing. A party, a guy she never named, and a hangover that turned out to be me. She didn't find out until it was too late. Not her words, at least not out loud. But you can hear a lot in the silences. She never talked about him. Not once. No name. No story. Just a shrug and a dismissive, it doesn't matter. And maybe it didn't. Maybe it never did. Because by the time I was old enough to notice things, she'd already built a very clear world. I was the thing that derailed it. She didn't finish her degree, moved back in with her mother, got a job she hated, told people she was figuring things out, which is code for doing everything on hard mode while trying not to admit, I regret the baby. She never said I ruined her life. She didn't have to. I could feel it. In the way she sighed when I asked for help. In the way she looked at other people's lives like they were hers in another universe. In the way she forgot to smile when she looked at me. I spent most of my early childhood trying not to be too much. Too loud. Too messy. Too needy. I failed often. When I was 7, everything changed. She met a man. My future stepdad. He had a nice car, a steady job, and a weirdly intense collection of model trains. I remember him giving me a toy on our first meeting, a puzzle, I think. I said thank you, and he nodded like he was evaluating a resume. 6 months later, they were married. A year after that, Lauren was born. And suddenly, I had a front row seat to the kind of motherhood I hadn't realized existed. It was like watching my mom get rebooted. Warm, patient, affectionate. She cooed, she baked, she wore baby slings and went to parenting workshops and made scrapbook pages with glittery stickers that said things like, "Miracle Baby." I used to watch her swaddle Lauren and think, where was that version of you when I was crying over lost mittens in preschool? Apparently that version hadn't been born yet, because Lauren wasn't just the second child, she was the do-over. And me? I was the mistake she never figured out how to love. Don't get me wrong, they didn't lock me in a closet or starve me. They fed me, clothed me, let me live in their house. But there's a difference between being taken care of and being wanted. I stopped asking for things pretty early on because every time I did, it came with a sigh. Help with homework? Sigh. Permission to go on a field trip? Sigh. Ride to a sleepover? Heavy sigh. They'd do it. Sometimes. But not without broadcasting how inconvenient it was. I learned to apologize before I asked for anything. I still do it sometimes. And then years later, because irony never sleeps, I got pregnant at 20. I was in between jobs, barely scraping by, and single. Sound familiar? When I told my mom, she didn't react, just sat there for a second. Then said, "You still have options." I knew what she meant, but it wasn't a conversation. It was a declaration, as if she was saying, "Don't do what I did." And I can't lie. Part of me almost listened. The part of me that still didn't believe I was capable of not ruining someone's life. But then I heard the heartbeat, and it was the first time in my entire life I felt like something was happening for me, not to me. So I kept her. And I made a promise right then and there. My baby would never feel like I sighed when she walked in the room. I named her Daisy. She came out screaming like she had a grievance with the world, and then fell asleep in my arms like she forgave it anyway. I didn't know you could fall in love that fast. I also didn't know how hard it would be, or how tired I'd get, or how many nights I'd spend Googling how to get a baby to sleep at 3 a.m. while shoving cold pasta in my mouth like it was a valid dinner. But I figured it out. I got into web design, built a client base, started a little home business. Flexible hours, enough to pay the bills. And Daisy? She was my joy. Messy, loud, full of ideas and plans and imaginary friends she assigned me to babysit when she was busy doing manager stuff. She's always loved kids, not just playing with them, organizing them. Even when she was 10, she'd put together events for the younger kids at church. Obstacle courses made out of couch cushions, magic shows, face painting. She once turned our garage into a princess disco with nothing but string lights and a Spotify playlist. By 13, she was babysitting her cousins, Lauren's kids, for free, every weekend, every holiday. She never complained. Because to Daisy, it wasn't work. It was rehearsal. She wanted to be a children's entertainer, a real one, like business cards and everything. She dreamed about it the way other kids dream about being astronauts. And of course, the family mocked her for it. Not always directly, sometimes just with silence. Or those careful, "Well, that's cute, but what's your real plan?" questions. At first it was, "You should learn to code. That's where the money is." Then AI became trendy, and suddenly she should be doing something with robots. My stepdad once told her she should go into voice assistant programming because she was good at setting up his Alexa. They never asked what made her happy. They only asked what sounded impressive at dinner parties. This party? It was her way of showing them. Not telling, not asking, showing that she could organize a full-scale event, that she could lead, that she could build joy from scratch. She didn't want money. She wanted respect, a little awe, maybe a crumb of pride. Instead, she got silence. Worse than that, she got replaced. And now she knows what I've known for a long time, that sometimes the people who were supposed to believe in you are the ones who need the most convincing. And sometimes, they're not worth convincing at all. There's something strange about watching your kid take down the very party she built with her own hands. Daisy didn't cry. That would have almost been easier. Crying is a release. Crying says, "I still care." She just shut off the lights on the puppet stage, one by one, like she was closing shop after a long, pointless shift. Then she started packing up the goodie bags, quietly peeling the glitter stickers off each name tag like they were mistakes. It felt like I was watching a funeral. Not for the party, for the part of her that still believed in them. And that's when I realized I couldn't let it end like this. I stepped out of the room, phone in hand. My fingers were already moving before I even had a plan. I opened my contacts list and started scrolling. Not for family. They'd made their choice. I was done begging people to love my daughter correctly. No. I was looking for everyone else. Friends from the neighborhood, coworkers with kids, moms from Daisy's old after-school group. Anyone with a child under 12 and no Christmas plans. I called the first name on the list. "Hey, Kelly, are you busy today? You are? Okay, but hear me out." 20 minutes later, I had 6 yeses. By 30 minutes, we were at 10. Nobody needed convincing. Turns out, a lot of people hadn't planned anything special for Christmas. Some were divorced, some exhausted, some just didn't want to cook. A few sounded downright thrilled. "You're saying there's a party? With games? And I don't have to host it?" Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. Daisy walked into the hallway as I hung up my 8th call. She was holding the snowman relay cones in a box. "Mom, what are you doing?" I looked up at her. "Resurrecting Christmas." She stared at me. "I invited people," I said. "My people, your people, kids who'd actually appreciate a handmade goodie bag and reindeer bingo." She didn't respond. I added, "They're coming." A long pause. "How many?" I checked my phone. 14 kids. So far." She blinked. "Can we do that? Like switch plans? Just like that?" "We've got hot cocoa, paper snowflakes, and an emotional support elf. We'll be fine." She laughed. Just a little. Then she said, "Okay," and turned back toward the living room. She started setting it all up again, but this time, her hands didn't shake. The first knock came 20 minutes later. It was my old friend Julie from work, her 2 kids bounding through the door like they'd won the lottery. Daisy met them at the door with a basket of Jingle Bell necklaces and a glittery name chart. "Hi, welcome to the North Pole," she chirped, like she hadn't just been crushed under the weight of her entire extended family's indifference an hour ago. 5 more families followed. The house was suddenly full of kids, giggling, yelling, running straight for the games like they'd been rehearsing for this. Daisy led the first round of reindeer freeze dance. She put on the elf hat again. She cracked jokes. She improvised when the snowflake toss fell apart and made it funnier. She was glowing. I stood back and watched her come alive, and I thought, look at her. Look what they threw away. It didn't take long for the parents to notice. She planned all of this? Yes. By herself? Yes. She could charge for this. She should. Someone posted a photo of the puppet show. Then someone else. Then one of the moms posted a boomerang of Daisy leading the candy cane scavenger hunt with a caption that read, "This 19-year-old just saved Christmas for my kids." Meanwhile, her family ditched the entire thing after she spent 3 months planning it. Shameful. She named names. Lauren's, specifically. I didn't ask her to, but I also didn't stop her. The posts started picking up traction. Shares, comments, messages. Other parents chimed in. "We were at the other party. We didn't know she planned it. Why didn't anyone say anything? This is so messed up." And then my phone buzzed again, a number I didn't recognize. I picked up. "Hi, is this Daisy's mom?" "Yes. This is Rebecca. We're still at Lauren's. We just saw what's happening online. We didn't know." "Didn't know what?" "That Daisy was the one who planned the original party. Lauren just told us plans changed." Silence. Then, "Would it be possible to stop by? Even just to say hi?" I looked at the clock. It was almost over. "I'm sorry," I said. "It's too late." Another call. Another relative. They said the same thing. They didn't know. They were told there was a venue change. Now they felt sick. Too little. Too late. Back at the party, Daisy was reading The Grumpy Polar Bear Who Stole the Tinsel to a group of 6-year-olds in a blanket fort. One of the moms turned to me and whispered, "She's really talented." "She's always been," I said. Another mom asked, "Does she do birthdays?" "Not yet," I said. "But she will." And as I said it, Daisy looked up at me, just for a second. She didn't smile, but her eyes said everything. That night, after the last kid left with a goodie bag and sticky fingers, we sat on the couch in the quiet. Daisy still had glitter in her hair. The puppet stage was leaning against the wall. The cocoa station was half empty. One of the snowman cones had a bite taken out of it. Don't ask me how. She exhaled slowly. "That felt real," she said. "It was." "Do you think anyone else saw it?" I nodded. "Oh, they saw it." My phone buzzed again. Another comment, another share, another message. But I didn't check it. I just looked at my daughter, the one they didn't believe in, the one they underestimated, and I thought, they're going to regret it. They already do. The first call came the next morning. I was halfway through microwaving day-old cocoa when my phone lit up with Mom. No emoji, no exclamation mark. Just pure, institutional disappointment. I should have let it go to voicemail. I didn't. The moment I picked up, she skipped right past hello and dove straight into rage. "What the hell did you do?" No context, no patience, just fury. "Good morning to you too," I said, stirring my cocoa with a candy cane I found stuck to the fridge door. "You've humiliated the entire family online." "I didn't post anything." "Don't play games, Heather. People are calling us, texting, asking questions, judging. Your daughter's little pity party is all over Facebook." I took a sip. Lukewarm, overly sweet, and somehow perfect for this conversation. "Maybe they're not judging you," I said. "Maybe they just saw what you did." "We didn't do anything. You didn't show up. That's a start." "It was a reasonable decision." "No. What would have been reasonable was showing up for your granddaughter." There was a pause. The kind that comes when someone realizes they've lost the upper hand but aren't ready to admit it. Then she hissed, "You need to fix this." That was the moment I smiled. By noon, Lauren had joined the chorus. "You're lucky I'm not suing you," she snapped, texting in all caps like a woman with a law degree from Facebook University. "You let people slander me. You encouraged it." "No one slandered you," I replied. "They told the truth. If that's damaging, maybe examine why it's damaging. You just let it happen, on purpose. You're vindictive." That made me laugh. "You ditched your niece on Christmas Eve and took credit for her work. But yes, clearly I'm the villain. Take it down. All of it." I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my phone, pulled up my photos, and drafted my own post. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't call anyone out by name. I just posted 3 photos. One of Daisy leading the puppet show, one of the reindeer ring toss mid-laughter, and one of the hot cocoa bar, complete with her handwritten chalkboard menu. Then I wrote, "This was my daughter's first solo children's event. She planned every detail for months. The original guests didn't show up, so we opened our doors to friends instead, and she saved Christmas for 24 kids. I've never been prouder. That was it. No shade, no specifics. But the people who needed to understand, they did." The post exploded. Within hours, Daisy's inbox was full. Comments, messages, booking requests. Parents who'd attended wanted her for birthday parties, school events, even a neighborhood spring fair. One message read, "Do you do themed birthdays? My son loves dinosaurs." Another said, "I'd pay a lot for that cocoa bar setup. You've got a real talent." That night, she sat across from me at the kitchen table, laptop open, surrounded by sketches of balloon arches and sample party package names. "Do I sound too desperate if I call it Whimsy and Wonder?" she asked. "No," I said. "You sound like a CEO." She beamed. And I swear to God, in that moment, I saw the girl she was and the woman she was becoming, and both of them were unstoppable. The next morning, the local parenting blog picked up the story. Small outlet, friendly tone. Title: Teen Event Planner Saves Christmas After Last-Minute Family Cancellation. They didn't name names. They didn't have to. People in our circle connected the dots faster than I could refresh the page, and the consequences rolled in. People started distancing themselves from my parents. From Lauren. "Oh, I just assumed you were busy," became the new polite version of "you were awful," and we all know it. Lauren's Instagram comments dried up overnight. The dinner invitations stopped. No more smiley reactions under her family first posts. It turns out, when you build your image on being the golden child, it only takes one snowflake to melt the whole illusion. Another call came that afternoon, this time from my stepdad, a man who hadn't said a single word throughout all of this. "Heather," he started, voice tight. "We're getting calls." "I heard. You need to shut this down." I let the silence hang. Then, "No. Heather, you watched her build that party, and you let it happen. You let Mom do it. You let Lauren take over. You said nothing." More silence. "She's your granddaughter," I said, then corrected myself. "Well, she could have been, if you'd ever treated her that way. You're blowing this out of proportion," she cried in silence so no one would hear her. His voice cracked, not with regret, with panic. "You'll destroy this family." "No," I said, calm and sure. "I'm just done pretending it isn't already broken." And I hung up. Later that week, Daisy launched her website. It had everything. Party packages, photos from the event, a little About Me section that read, "I've loved kids' parties since I was a kid myself. My first big solo event didn't go quite as planned, but it turned into something even better." That's when I realized joy doesn't come from approval. It comes from doing what you love. I didn't help her write that. She did it all herself. A few hours after it went live, a mom messaged her to book a kid's Valentine's Day party. And just like that, she had her first paying client. And the family? We blocked them. Every number, every thread, every group chat. We didn't write a dramatic goodbye. No final confrontation. No open door. We just left the building. Because sometimes peace doesn't come from forgiveness. It comes from choosing silence where the noise used to live. And sometimes the only way to heal is to stop inviting the people who keep reopening the wound. Daisy and I sat in the quiet that night. The house still smelled like peppermint and wood glue. She turned to me and said, "Do you think they'll ever apologize?" I thought for a second. "No," I said. "But we don't need them to." She nodded, and then she smiled. Not the smile she gives the world. The one she saves just for me. The one that says, "We're going to be okay." And we are. We didn't ruin the family. We just stopped pretending it wasn't already broken. 3 months later, I found out through Facebook. Well, technically, through Lauren's soft goodbye post on Facebook. A filtered photo of a half-empty living room, a cardboard box labeled Christmas decorations, and a caption that read, "Sometimes the people you thought would always be there are the ones who hurt you most. Here's to new beginnings." Cue the dramatic piano music. Turns out, they moved. Not across the country, just a few towns over, but far enough to avoid questions, far enough to dodge the social fallout. Apparently, when you publicly abandon your teenage niece's Christmas party and then get gently roasted by half the community, the consequences do show up, just not how you expect. Their new neighbors don't know the story. Yet. But if they've got Wi-Fi and Facebook memories, it's only a matter of time. As for Daisy, she's booked solid. Easter bunny brunches, birthday princess gigs, a science-themed slime party that got way out of hand in the best possible way. She even hired a friend part-time to help with weekend events. The girl who was told her dreams were childish now has a wait list. But now I want to hear from you. Did I go too far, or not nearly far enough? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell.
After listening to today's story, perhaps it has raised some new questions in your mind, or maybe it has brought back some old memories. Every day on Reddit, new experiences and moments create fresh stories, and they connect all of us. Everyone has their own unique journey in life, and we all try to understand the world in our own way. These kinds of moments remind us that we are all human, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, and always learning something new. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to share it with your friends. Your thoughts and feedback are always valuable to us, as they motivate us to create even better content. Every story has its own unique angle, and our goal is to understand everyone's perspective and make our content diverse and relatable. Stories like these help us realize that life's journey is different for everyone, and by hearing other stories, we learn something new. You can also share your own stories with us. Your experiences are valuable to us as well, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave your feedback. We aim to create content that brightens your mind and gives you new ideas every time. If you've already seen this video before, your feedback is still important. With every piece of feedback, we can improve our content and bring a new perspective to our viewers. Today, what we saw was just a small part of the many stories shared on Reddit and across the world. It's a reminder of how we all try to understand life by sharing our experiences with each other. This video was only an example of how we try to connect with others through storytelling, learning about different sides of life. We hope to continue sharing such stories that help us all learn and grow together. Thank you for your time, and don't forget to keep an eye out for more stories coming soon. If you haven't already, please like and follow for more amazing content. Your support keeps us going, and we will strive to bring you more thought-provoking and heartwarming stories. Until next time, take care and stay curious. ****